heart. So today I am going to teach about the heart, right atrium and right ventricle. I'll start with right atrium first of all. Coming to the external features of right atrium. Right atrium that presents externally by right auricle. This one is the right auricle, which it is a halo muscular projection. So right auricle is a halo muscular projection. Next, coming to the sulcus terminalis. Here there will be a sulcus terminalis which it is present. Okay, so it is a shallow vertical groove and which it is corresponds with crista terminalis in the interior of right atrium. Okay, sulcus terminalis is a shallow vertical groove which it is corresponds with crista terminalis in the interior of right atrium. Coming to the relations of right atrium, in front, here there will be a right lung which it is in related to the right atrium. Okay, so in front which it is in related to the part of right lung in front. Behind, here behind, that is divides into behind right and behind left. Okay, so behind right which it is in related to right pair of pulmonary veins. Okay, behind right which it is in related to the right pair of pulmonary veins. Okay, behind left by left atrium which it is separated by interatrial septum. Okay, so behind left by left atrium which it is separated by interatrial septum. Okay, behind right by right pair of pulmonary veins, behind left by left atrium separated by interatrial septum. Coming to the lateral relations from within outwards. Okay, lateral relations from within outwards. First of all, that is pericardium, right phrenic nerve, mediastinal pleura and part of right lung. Okay, so from within outwards, one by one, pericardium, right phrenic nerve, mediastinal pleura and part of right lung. Coming to the medial relations, medially by roots of ascending aorta and pulmonary trunk. Okay, roots of here medial relations. Okay, here there will be a medial relations which are present by, so roots of ascending aorta and pulmonary trunk. Okay, so relations are in front by the part of right lung, behind right by right pair of pulmonary veins, behind left by left atrium which it is separated by interatrial septum. Okay, so then laterally by within outwards, pericardium, right phrenic nerve, mediastinal pleura and part of right lung. Medially by roots of ascending aorta and pulmonary trunk. Coming to the interior of right atrium. Interior of this right atrium which it is divides into two parts. One is anterior part and other one is posterior part. Okay, so this part is anterior part. Here this one is anterior part and here this one is posterior part. Okay, anterior part and posterior part. These two parts which are separated by crista terminalis. This one is the crista terminalis. Okay, so coming to the posterior part, that is otherwise called it as sinus venerum, otherwise smooth part. Okay, posterior part that is called it as sinus venerum and smooth part, and it receives termination of superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Okay, so which it is receives the termination of superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Coming to the anterior part, that is the atrium proper. Okay, anterior part, otherwise atrium proper, which it is rough. Okay, anterior part, atrium proper and rough, which includes the right auricle. Okay, so this right atrium, okay, so anterior part includes this right auricle. Okay, so posterior part, that is smooth, receives the termination of superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Okay, anterior part, okay, this one is anterior part, which it is rough, includes the right auricle. These two parts, anterior and posterior parts, these two parts separated by smooth muscle ridge. Okay, which are separated by smooth muscle ridge, that one is called it as crista terminalis, which it is coincides externally by sulcus terminalis. Sulcus terminalis. Coming to the sinus venerum, otherwise posterior smooth part. Sinus venerum, otherwise posterior smooth part. Okay, so it contains superior vena caval opening and inferior vena caval opening. Coming to the superior vena caval opening. Superior vena caval opening situated upper posterior part of right atrium. Upper posterior. This superior vena caval opening, which it is in related to the, so posterior part, no, so superior vena cava, this one. Okay, so which it is situated upper posterior part of right atrium, but there is no valve here. Okay, superior vena caval opening, which it is situated upper and posterior part of right atrium, but there is no valve. Coming to the inferior vena caval opening, which it is situated within the posterior lower part. Posterior upper, superior vena cava. Posterior lower by the inferior vena caval opening. Okay, so situated lower part of the posterior part of right atrium, but it has a Eustachian valve. About to the superior vena caval opening, there is no valve, but inferior vena caval opening, it has a Eustachian valve. Eustachian valve that presents two margins. Eustachian valve that presents two margins. One is convex margin, other one is concave margin. Okay, so this convex margin, which it is attached to the anterior wall of the opening. Okay, convex margin, which it is attached to the anterior wall of the opening. About to the concave free margin, about to the concave free margin, which it is projects into the right atrium. Okay, so this convexity, which it is attached here to the right atrium anterior wall, but here there will be a concavity is present, that margin which it is opens into the right atrium. Okay, so it has right horn and left horns. Okay, concave free margin projects into the atrium and it has a right and left horns. Okay, so right horn continues with lower end of crista terminalis. Okay, so this is the right horn, this one is the left horn. Right horn, which it is continuous with the crista terminalis, which it is continuous with the crista terminalis. Coming to the left horn, which it is continuous with the anterior limb of limbus fossa ovalis. Okay, actually just above to this, above and left to the inferior vena cava. This is the inferior vena caval opening. No, just above and left to this inferior vena cava, there is a depression is present. The depression is called it as fossa ovalis. Around that there is a margin which it is present, sickle shaped margin, that is called it as limbus fossa ovalis. This is the limbus fossa ovalis. It presents anterior limb and posterior limb, anterior limb and posterior limb. Okay, so left horn, which it is continuous with the anterior limb of limbus fossa ovalis. Is it clear for you all? So here this is the right horn which it is in related to the crista terminalis, left horn which it is continuous with the anterior limb of limbus fossa ovalis. In fetal life, limbus fossa ovalis regulates the flow of blood from inferior vena cava to left atrium through the foramen ovale. Coming to the opening of coronary sinus. Okay, opening of this coronary sinus which it is situated. So this is the coronary sinus which it is situated in between the inferior vena cava opening and right atrioventricular orifice. This is the right atrioventricular orifice. Okay, so otherwise that one is tricuspid valve. Okay, so this coronary sinus which it is situated in between the inferior vena cava opening and right atrioventricular orifice in the lower part of this septum. In the lower part of this septum. So this coronary sinus which it is covered by Thebesian valve. Okay, coronary sinus that is covered by Thebesian valve. Just above to this Thebesian valve there is a AV node which it is situated. Okay, so this is the Thebesian valve, no, just above to this. Okay, so there is the location for the AV node. There is the location for the AV node. Coming to the foramina venerum minimarum. Foramina venerum minimarum. So there is a minute openings of venae cordis minimi. Okay, venae cordis minimi. These are more at septal wall. Okay, foramina venerum minimarum. These are all the minute openings of venae cordis minimi, more at the septal wall. Okay, next coming to the anterior cardiac vein and right marginal vein open in the right atrium proper through foramina venereum. Okay, anterior cardiac vein and right marginal vein open in the atrium proper through foramina venereum. Coming to the atrium proper, otherwise anterior part, otherwise rough part. Okay, so this anterior part, okay, so it lies in front of crista terminalis. Okay, already we discussed, no. So this is the crista terminalis. If this is closed, okay, that will be here. Okay, it means this is the anterior part, this one is posterior part. Okay, so atrium proper, otherwise this anterior part, okay, which it is lies in front of this crista terminalis, in front of this crista terminalis. Coming to the crista terminalis, which it is extends from upper part of atrial septum. Okay, so this is the upper part of atrial septum. Okay, so which it is extends from upper part of atrial septum and it passes laterally. It passes laterally in front of superior vena cava. Okay, crista terminalis which it is extends from the upper part of atrial septum. It passes laterally in front of the opening of superior vena cava. It runs downwards. Okay, so in front of the superior vena cava laterally and downwards along the right wall of atrium, along the right wall of the right atrium. Okay, so in front of the superior vena cava downwards laterally, so which it is coincides externally with the sulcus terminalis. Finally it ends in joining with right horn of inferior vena cava valve. Okay, so finally it descends downwards and finally it ends within the right horn of inferior vena cava valve. Okay, inferior vena cava valve. Coming to the musculi pectinatae. Okay, musculi pectinatae, these are all the parallel muscular ridges. These are all the parallel muscular ridges running forwards from the crista terminalis to AV orifice. Okay, so these are all the horizontal ridges which are present here, no. So these are all the parallel muscular ridges which are running from this crista terminalis towards the atrioventricular orifice like this. Okay, musculi pectinati, parallel muscular ridges running forwards from crista terminalis towards the atrioventricular orifice. Okay, next coming to the right auricle. Right auricle is a potential site for thrombi. Okay, so it is a potential site for thrombi. Finally, it can result in formation of pulmonary embolism. Okay, finally it can result in pulmonary embolism. Interatrial septum. Coming to the interatrial septum, it presents fossa ovalis. Already we discussed now about to the fossa ovalis. It is a oval depression just above to the left to the opening of inferior vena cava. Okay, fossa ovalis is a oval depression just above and left to this inferior vena cava opening. Developmentally, it is arises from septum primum. Developmentally, it is arises from septum primum. Coming to the limbus fossa ovalis. What is this limbus fossa ovalis? Which it is nothing but sickle shaped sharp margin surrounds the margins of fossa. Okay, this is the fossa ovalis. Okay, which it is the sickle shaped sharp margin surrounds the margins of this fossa. Okay, so that is about the limbus fossa ovalis. Coming to the triangle of Koch, which it is very important for you. So coming to this triangle of Koch, so which it is a triangular area which it is bounded in front. Okay, so this is the triangle of Koch which it is bounded in front by tricuspid valve. This is the tricuspid valve. So within this tricuspid, septal leaflet which it is mainly related in front. Okay, in front by the septal leaflet of tricuspid valve, behind by the coronary sinus. This is the coronary sinus. This is the triangle of Koch. Okay, in front by septal leaflet, behind by the coronary sinus, and above by the ligament of tendon of Todaro. Ligament of tendon of Todaro, which is a subendocardial ridge, which it is nothing but subendocardial ridge. Okay, so triangle of Koch which it is in related to anteriorly by septal leaflet, behind by the coronary sinus, above by ligament of tendon of Todaro, which it is nothing but subendocardial ridge. Subendocardial ridge. Coming to the torus aorticus. Torus aorticus. So here there is the torus aorticus which it is present. This torus aorticus, it is an elevation in the antero-superior part of the septum. Okay, so which it is the antero-superior part. If this is closed, here that will be located. Okay, so torus aorticus, it is an elevation in the antero-superior part of the septum. It is caused by, mainly it is caused by bulging of the right posterior aortic sinus. Right posterior aortic sinus of the ascending aorta. Okay, it is caused by, especially by bulging of the right posterior aortic sinus of the ascending aorta. Actually, anterior aortic sinus, left posterior aortic sinus. Okay, these two sinuses gives the origin for the coronary arteries, except this right posterior aortic sinus. So that's why right posterior aortic sinus, otherwise that is called it as non-coronary sinus. Okay, so because of this, so mainly that is called it as non-coronary sinus. Anterior and left posterior aortic sinuses gives the origin for the coronary arteries, except this one. Okay, so that is the torus aorticus. Torus aorticus. Coming to the left atrium. Left atrium. Left atrium mainly that forms most of the base of the heart. It forms the most of the base of the heart. It receives blood from lungs by 4 pulmonary veins. Right side 2 and left side 2 pulmonary veins. Okay. So bicuspid valve blood. So here there will be a bicuspid valve which it is located. Okay. So blood within the right atrium by 4 pulmonary veins. Okay. After that, that blood is entering into the left ventricle by this bicuspid valve. Okay. So blood passes through the left atrium into the left ventricle by this bicuspid valve. Bicuspid means that presents 2 cusps. Okay. So actually, so most of the base of the skull which it is mainly formed by the left atrium. So these 2 are the right 2 pulmonary, these 2 are the left 2 pulmonary veins. This one is the left atrium. Okay, it forms most of the base of the heart. It receives blood from lungs. Okay, so it contains how many pulmonary veins? 4 pulmonary veins, right side 2 and left side 2. And from this left atrium to left ventricle, blood is passes through the bicuspid valve. After that, the blood is mainly entering into the ascending aorta like this. Okay, so this is the right atrium. Blood is entering into the right ventricle by this tricuspid valve. After that, that blood is entering into the pulmonary trunk like this. Okay, so this is about the left atrium. Can we summarize this? Okay, so external features of right atrium, which it is related in front by right lung, behind and right by the 2 right side pulmonary veins, behind left by the left atrium by interatrial septum which it is separated, laterally from within outwards by pericardium, right phrenic nerve, mediastinal pleura and part of right lung, medially which it is related to the 2 trunks, that is the ascending aorta and the pulmonary trunks. Coming to the interior of this right atrium. Okay, so anterior part and posterior part, these 2 parts are separated by crista terminalis. Crista terminalis is nothing but smooth muscle ridge. Posterior part, that is sinus venerum, which it is smooth. It receives the termination of superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Anterior part, that is the atrium proper, and it is rough. So including this anterior part, there will be a right auricle. Okay. Next, coming to the sinus venerum, otherwise posterior part, it contains the superior vena caval opening and inferior vena caval opening. But superior vena caval opening has no valve, but inferior vena caval opening has a Eustachian valve. This Eustachian valve that contains a 2 margins. Okay, so one is convex margin, other one is concave margin. Convex margin which it is attached to the anterior wall of the opening. Concave free margin which it is projects into the right atrium, and it has a right horn and left horn. Right hand which it is ends within the lower end of crista terminalis. So left horn which it is ends and which it is continuous with the limbus fossa ovalis. Okay, so then next coming to the openings of coronary sinus. Okay, this opening of coronary sinus which it is situated in between the inferior vena cava and septal leaflet. This is the coronary sinus which it is covered by the Thebesian valve. Just above to this Thebesian valve there is a AV node is present. Okay, foramina venerum minimarum, it means there is a minute openings of venae cordis minimi. Okay, atrium proper, otherwise anterior part, it lies in front of crista terminalis. In front of crista terminalis, this crista terminalis which it is extends in front of the superior vena cava downwards and laterally, and which it is ends within the right horn of inferior vena caval valve. Musculi pectinati, these are all the parallel muscular ridges running forwards from the crista terminalis towards the atrioventricular orifice. Interatrial septum presents fossa ovalis. This is nothing but oval depression. Around this there is a limbus fossa ovalis which it is present. Triangle of Koch, which it is bounded in front by the septal leaflet, behind by the coronary sinus, and above by the ligament of tendon of Todaro, which it is nothing but subendocardial ridge. Torus aorticus, it is an elevation in the anterior-superior part of the septum, and which it is mainly by the bulging of the right posterior aortic sinus of the ascending aorta, which it is the non-coronary sinus. Left atrium, it forms most of the base of the heart. It receives the blood from the lungs, okay, that is mainly by the 4 pulmonary veins, okay. Blood within the right atrium, that is entering into the left ventricle by bicuspid valve, okay. So this is about the right atrium and left atrium, okay. Thank you.